NBA fans, welcome back to my channel. Jordan versus LeBron. Okay, people, I got a video request from one of my subscribers, and they wanted to talk about Hakeem versus Shaq. Oh, goodness. Hakeem versus Shaq. Now, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Like and comment. Share the videos. Cash at me if you like the content. So, I don't know what to say here. A lot of people say that Shaq is the most dominant player ever, which I really don't even know what that means. What what are we talking about as far as dominant? Like winning? I don't really know what that means. A lot of people in the basketball media, they like to push this dominant word as bullying. You're bullying somebody, like, is that really basketball skill? I mean, to me, that's not really basketball skill if you're just bullying the guy. But we all knew that Shaq was more than that, especially back in the 90s. When he first came into the league, he wasn't just that type of dominant player where he just shoved people around, and the guy was real agile, had basketball skills, could run the court. He could do a lot of stuff. I mean, these are two different Shaqs that people talk about, the LA Shaq and the Orlando Shaq. Most people would tell you they would like the Orlando Shaq, okay? And I think, well, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say Shaq did the same thing LeBron did and ran to L.A. when, LeBron ran to Miami, because when Shaq ran to L.A., there was really nobody there for him that was a Hall of Fame player. So, no, of course, he didn't do the same thing that LeBron did. He went there and Kobe got drafted, but we got to think, we keep calling the 90s weak, but this guy went to LA. He got swept. He got beat by some plumbers that the LeBron media say were plumbers. Jeff Hornacek and John Stockton. And for some reason now, Karl Malone's no good. And if you play team ball, you can beat people. It don't matter what you look like, no matter how high you can jump. And these things like that, back in the day, we consider skill, knowing the X's and O's about the game. That's what we consider skilled. Today, what they consider skilled is a guy just dribbling between his legs 300 times. I mean, we didn't consider that skill back in the day. We consider skill, post moves, footwork, trapping, passing, pick and roll. These were skilled guys. Reggie Miller could run and get open off of like 3-4 screens. I mean, that takes a lot of energy to do something like that. Playing defense, we consider that skilled. I mean, what they consider skilled today is like baby talk. It's like, you would get benched for doing all this dribbling that's meaningless. So I don't mean to get off a topic, and what we consider skilled is what Hakeem was doing. Hakeem was greatly skilled, could steal the ball, block the ball, had post moves, could face up with a little jumper. I mean, this guy had mad skills. And, for a big man, Shaq, back in Orlando, we would consider him skilled. I mean, he could run the break with the ball. He could block. He had a little jump hook or whatever like that. He wasn't the best skilled man, but, I think he could have got better if he stayed in Orlando. So, just coincidence that these two met in the finals in, what was it, 90, I think it was 95? And Hakeem pretty much destroyed Orlando. And no way would you have thought, if you go back and look at Orlando in that season, and just, the Orlando team up and coming, no way you would think that, that Orlando team would get swept or get beat, period, by the Rockets. But you got to remember, the fiercer your competition is, the steeper your competition is, the more skilled you got to be as a team to win. And the Rockets, they played in the Western Conference, so the skill level just to make it to the next round in the playoffs was just huge. Jordan in the mid 90s or the 90s period didn't play in no weak 90s. I mean, but let's face it, the West was just better. I mean, it was just like flip-flop, because in the 80s, the West really wasn't nothing. Everybody was in the East, except for the Lakers, really. I mean, yeah, you had a couple of great players in the West, but I'm talking about as far as like overall team and competition, the 80s, that's where it was. But when you went into the 90s, it just flip-flopped, and everything was the West. And even the Lakers, who made it to the championship game, to the finals in the 90s, all the meat was still in the West in 1990, or 91, when the Lakers made it to the finals. So, yeah, and that's where you got to give credit to Jordan. He was he was playing in a lesser conference in the 90s and still beating the better conference, which was the West, by the time he got to the finals. I mean, this was insane. It was insane, because when you look at it, when he was gone and he retired, the West was winning. But when he came back, he had to beat the West to win. You know what I'm saying? He brought back the crown to the East. People don't realize that, man. And the West has just been strong ever since. So, I mean, it's just a toss-up who you're going to take on here. I think the better skilled person was clearly Hakeem. When you look at championships, Shaq 5, Hakeem 2. Finals MVPs, Hakeem 2, Shaq 3. I mean, that tells you something big right there. When Shaq's got, does he got 5 champ? No, Shaq has 4 champ. Yeah, somebody just corrected me. I don't know why this says 5 championships. Maybe the thinking was Kobe. Yeah, Shaq. I was like, well, why's he only got 3 MVPs? Yeah, he's only got 4 championships, as far as I know. Yeah. Most valuable player, they both got the same, with 1. All-star appearances, Hakeem 12, Shaq 15, which you would think that, well, that's about right. All NBA first team, Hakeem 6, Shaq had 8. Second team, Hakeem 3, Shaq 2. We just skipped something real quick. All-star MVP, Shaq 3 and Hakeem 0, which is surprising, but I don't think Hakeem was really interested in that. All NBA third team, Hakeem 3, Shaq 4. Once Hakeem got old, Shaq just took over. He was going to be on All NBA every time after that. So, Hakeem, why he doesn't have more, because he was battling people like, David Robinson, I think Patrick Ewing. I don't think he ever made a first team. He was really, a lot of people don't respect David Robinson, don't give him his props, but he was battling people like David Robinson, and then Shaq at the end of Hakeem's career for All NBA. So, Defensive Player of the Year, Hakeem 2 times, Shaq 0. Defensive first team, Hakeem 5. Let me see. Shaq 0. Defensive second team, Hakeem 4. And then you got Shaq 4 times also. Yeah, and another thing is, this is who Hakeem was battling for them All NBA defensive teams. Shaq to lesser degree, but you had the Dikembe Mutombo, you had David Robinson, and a couple other characters in the 80s and 90s. So, um, Shaq got Rookie of the Year. Hakeem, 0. Rookie first team. They both got rookie first team. Rebound champion. You got Hakeem twice. And you got Shaq 0 times. Scoring champion. Shaq 2 times. Hakeem 0 times. Blocks champion. You got Hakeem 3 times. Shaq 0 times. So all-time points. Hakeem 26,946, and you got Shaq 2,800 or 28,596. And Hakeem points per game 21.8, Shaq 23.7. Rebounds, Hakeem 13,747 rebounds per game, 11.1, and you got Shaq 13,099 and 10.9 rebounds per game. Blocks 3,830 for Hakeem per game, 3.1, insane. Shaq blocks 2,732 blocks per game, 2.3, which he should have had more going in the 2000s. I'm trying to tell you, it got weaker. He should have had more blocks. Steals, Hakeem 2,162, 1.7 per game. Steals for Shaq 739.6 per game. We don't expect that to be big, really, for any center except for Hakeem. So they both were great players. The only thing is, I think if Shaq would have really played in the same era as Hakeem, I'm talking about coming into the 90s, I don't know if he would have been as good. But on the other hand, he might have been better, because once he got into the 2000s, he kind of slacked off, and that's where the beef with him and Kobe was. Kobe was like, man, let's do this. Let's break what Michael did. Let's go for the 4-peat. You know what I'm saying? And we all know they lost to Detroit and all this crap like that. But, you know, I'm going to pick Hakeem because he won 2 championships back-to-back with less help. And I think Hakeem was more skilled. I think he played in the tougher era as far as like the mid 80s going into the 2000s. I mean, going into the 90s. So, I mean, you can pick Shaq if you want a dominant guy. I mean, to me, I don't consider just because you bullying somebody is dominant. You know, I would consider somebody like, you know, Will, Jordan, maybe these type of players dominant. So, like I said, tell me what you think. This is what it is.